Hey there, Coach Devin here. 2020, it is wrapping up, and people are not surprisingly excited to see it go. They're happy to have it go out the door, but you know what? Not everything in 2020 was bad. And you know what? There are three things that I learned in 2020 that I think will help propel me to be a happier, better person in 2021 and on for the rest of my life. And you know what? I'm going to talk about them right now. They're pretty personal things, but I do think that they translate well to fitness, and they translate in general to just having a better, happier life. So we're about to get into it. Before we get going, please like and subscribe down below. Please share this with your friends if you think it'll help them. I make these videos because I want to help people. I've been in the fitness industry for 27 years now. I'm 47 years old. I started when I was 20. And you know what? I have always wanted to be able to help people on a larger scale, which is why I do these videos. I just do them so I can help other people. So feel free to share these and like and subscribe for more content like this. All right. So 2020, a lot of us think, get it out the door, shut the door, don't talk about it. It's over. You know what? For me, 2020 challenging in a number of ways, personally and professionally. Obviously, I own a gym, so that it can be challenging when you're shut down. But there are three things that I learned in 2020 that I think will help me in the rest of my life. And I think those are things that will move me forward in a positive route. So the first thing, number one, we started 2020, and I had some very specific goals for how much money I wanted my business to do. And January and February, we had the biggest months we'd ever had. And it was exciting. It was very exciting. It also was intensely stressful. The stress of go, 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 gotta get to this number, it consumed me day in and day out. That shit consumed me. I was breathing, sleeping, thinking about, what I want my numbers to be business-wise the whole time. And then March came along. And when March came along, obviously we closed. And it was a kick in the teeth. And at the same time, it was really frustrating because I thought, God damn it, I was on track. I was going to do what I said I was going to do at the beginning of the year. We're good. We're gold. We're rolling. I had 3 locations at the time that we business closed. I had 21 staff. It was crazy. It was busy. I couldn't believe that I had built this business. This is what I'd done myself. And you know what? COVID shut us down for 3 months. And 3 months is a long time. And we actually had another shutdown just a couple weeks ago too. And that was, it taught me something about wanting success. So by the time we came back from COVID, our space in Halifax, we had some, the business that owns the place that we work out of, which is Foundry Square. Foundry Square, they didn't want to reopen because they're concerned about, the COVID concerns. So we didn't reopen there. At the same time, the one in East Hants, Brian decided he wanted to go out on his own. He's going to do his own thing. And, we had some disagreements on how that would look, which will, play out over the course of time, I guess, still. But suddenly Brian went on his own. And some of my staff left because, they had different, it had woken them up to different opportunities and thoughts. And some of them didn't want to be trainers anymore. And I went from a staff of 21 in 3 locations to a staff of 8 in 1 location. And you know what? It's not that bad. In fact, I feel better about it than I did before. In January, February, for a couple of weeks in March, I was stressed to the max. All I did was eat, breathe, and sleep and everything about the numbers that I wanted to hit. When you have a big staff and you have a big payroll and you have lots of rent, that's a challenging thing. It's scary. So the thing that I learned about this is, sometimes you set a goal and really the goal isn't what you want. Looking back on it, I'm like, I thought that'd be a great goal. I want to make X amount of money and I want this many staff and this many locations. I wanted an empire. And in reality, I'm not a guy who wants an empire. In reality, what I want is a stable business that helps people do things, that allows me to do the things I like with the people I like working with. That's what I want. So I learned that, sometimes what you think you want and what you consider success is not exactly success. So that was the number one thing I learned. Number 2, I learned that I am maybe not the best guy about some things. And to explain this, I've always had a lot of confidence in myself that I know what the hell I'm talking about. And, if I don't know something, I'll tell you. I'm the first guy to say, hey, I don't know about that. But you know what? If I felt something and I felt strongly about something, I often, I would dig my heels in. I'm a stubborn guy. And I would say, you know what? I know best. And to illustrate this point, I always thought I was a good partner. In every relationship I'd be in, I was like, I'm a good partner. I work my butt off. I am not lazy. I do housework. I am positive. I'm fun to be around. I want to take care of people. I want my partner not to feel stressed. I want to help them with things. And you know what? In 2020, in April, during our shutdown, I had a workout one day, and I came back from my workout. I'd gone outside, and I came back, and I said to Deb, my fiance, who's now my wife, I said, look, I'm not feeling right. Like, my back is really sore. I think I have back spasms. And it progressed and progressed. And, I had 2.5 weeks in bed. I was in horrible agony. Went to the hospital several times. They kept checking me for COVID, which I did not have. And in the end, the third time I went to the hospital, the emergency room doctor said to me, you have a very serious staph infection. Has anybody talked to you about this? And I said, no. Well, I didn't say it that way. Actually, I was in horrible agony. I said, no, nobody told me about that. That's how I said it, but it sounds better if I just say it normally. So I was admitted to the hospital. I spent a week in the hospital. I came close to dying. I had a staph infection in the vertebrae in my back, and I still have some pain from that. Frustrating. But you know what? And when I went to the hospital, Deb gave me a book called The 5 Languages of Love and said, read this. And I said, okay. And then I didn't, because I was in pain and I was lazy. And I didn't feel like it, because I thought I knew what I was talking about. And you know what? Flash forward to the summer, and we were supposed to get married in the summer. And you know what? I was very annoyed that, my sister couldn't come down for the wedding. I wanted my sister to be there. I thought that was important for me, that her and Sam and the girls could all be there. That was super important. Anyway, we ended up pushing the wedding and putting it off. And you know what? And finally, Deb got through to me and said, read this book. And I read the book, The 5 Languages of Love. And you know what? It changed my entire thought process. And I realized, you know what? Devin, you don't know what you really want until I read that book. And I read the book and I was like, oh, this is what I'm looking for from a relationship. And then I also realized this is what Deb was looking for from a relationship. And suddenly our relationship, which was not bad in the first place, got significantly better. But what it did was it opened my eyes to the things I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I don't think I'm a bad spouse. I don't think I'm a bad partner. But you know what? Just doing the things I was doing didn't mean what I thought it meant to Deb, because she wasn't into it. And I realized, you know what? I don't know everything. I don't think I'm the greatest at some things. I think I have created some things in my head that I'm like, I'm good at this or I'm good at that. And really, maybe I'm not that good at it. So I took a step back from that. I'm trying to learn from that. And I'm trying to be a better spouse, a better partner, a better friend, a better trainer, a better ear to listen when I'm with clients, and you know what, and a better boss and a better coworker. Those are the things I'm trying to do. So the number 2 thing that I learned is I don't know everything, and some of the things I really, I was gripping onto thinking I knew, I didn't know. And then now the number 3 thing, this is an interesting one for me. The number 3 thing, I learned how to say no. I'm a bit of a people pleaser. I like everybody to be happy. That's how I am. I've always been like that. I don't know exactly where it comes from, but that is me. I want to help people. My job is about helping people get fit. And I do it on a regular basis. I take a lot of pride in it. I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. I love seeing the transformations for people. And I've always been about helping people. And I will help people to my own detriment quite often. And I just didn't learn how to say no. And I have a family member who I'm not going to say the names of, but a family member, because I'm trying to respect that person's privacy. And that family member is struggling a lot throughout COVID, after COVID, and I would go above and beyond quite often for that family member when I probably shouldn't. And if anybody knows anything about mental health problems and addiction, you will know that people who are struggling with mental health and addictions, sometimes they have to lean on other people, and sometimes they lean on them really hard. And sometimes, those people will lean on you and you will do too much for them, and then you're enabling them. And you know what? I was an enabler. Now, if you ask me, I would say, oh, no, I'm not an enabler. Not at all. Not even close. But in fact, I am and was an enabler. And I am an enabler for family and friends and, clients. I do that. So I want to go above and beyond, because that's who I am as a person. I feel like that's the right thing to do, the kind thing to do. That's where I feel like I can give something to somebody. And I learned during COVID, during the shutdown and post-shutdown that I need to say no to people. It's hard. I'll tell you, it's very hard. I have a hard time saying no in business. I have a hard time, you know what, I mean, I can, and I force myself to, but when it comes to family, when it comes to people who are close to me, I have a hard time saying no. It's tough. It's a challenge. I struggle with it. And one thing that this taught me was I need to take care of what I do and who I am. And sometimes you got to say no to people. And when you have to say no to them, it's okay because you're taking care of you. And if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of anybody. And that sounds obvious. Doesn't sound like rocket science, right? But in the end of the day, that's something that I had to learn. And I'm 47 years old. I just turned 47. To actually learn that at 47, kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But at the same time, it is something that I've learned how to do. And I'm getting slowly better at it. But it is a consistent, constant challenge for me. And you know what? I feel a lot of guilt with it. I feel bad about myself because that's not the guy I've been. I've done, for 47 years, I tried to be somebody who goes above and beyond and does extra. And sometimes you just have to say no. So those are the three things I learned during COVID, during 2020. So from when I look back and I take a step back, you know what? I don't see 2020 as being a negative. In fact, I learned some very important life lessons in 2020. That's what I feel like. I feel strongly that I learned some life lessons. I learned some lessons that I wouldn't have learned if COVID hadn't happened, if we hadn't had a pandemic. Probably wouldn't learn them. And you know what there is? I'm going to give you one more bonus one. One more bonus thing. We're going to make it 4. The last thing that I learned during COVID was to calm the hell down. And that, you know what? That's a tough one for me because I am an intense guy. And to take a step back from my emotions, from the excitement that is me every day, what's going on in my head, it's tough. It's hard. My workouts are always like to the max, hard, hard, hard. You know what? Not the smartest. I wouldn't tell a client to do that. Stupid, right? I'd be like, don't do that. That's a dumb idea. But I would do it for myself. And I would grind and grind and grind. And now I'm attempting to take a step back and learn from that. That's a shout out to my friend Cameron Struthers because he's been telling me for years, cool it. Calm down a little bit. He's been telling me that a lot. And you know what? I'm learning to do it better. I'm not perfect at it. I still like to do some crazy workouts from time to time, but I'm trying to gear down and do things better in a smarter manner and in a manner that's going to be more conducive to having a happy life and not beating my body up all the time. Just sometimes, but not all the time. You have comments, questions, things you want me to talk about, things that you found were successful during 2020, write them up down below. I'd love to hear from you. I always like when people write me. A lot of these videos are done because people ask me questions, and I say, you know what, that's a good video. I'm going to do a video on that. So feel free, please like, subscribe, share this with your friends. If you think you're going to like it, they will get something from it, because that's my hope, is that people will progress and get some positive things from the things I say. And have yourself an amazing day, everybody. 2021 will just get better. Don't fight the awesome.